Proclus, when does the entry of the soul into the organic body occur? According to Plato in Timaeus 43a, referring to the descent of the soul into the visible inorganic body created by the mundane or new gods, or otherwise from fire and water and air and earth like horses, according to Plato of ancient Greece. The second vehicle, he tells us, but fusing them with thick nails, invisible because of their small size, and constructing from all the elements an atomic body, they bound the rotations, the immortal soul periods, rotations within the body that flows in and flows out. But because of their smallness, invisible dense spikes fused, one by one, working on the body of each one, the periods of the immortal soul enter into a hidden body and an unhidden one. Since then, Plato started from the most imperfect and inmost, and after creating the homeomers and from them the organic body, he imparts it to the soul. For the new gods, borrowing parts from the wholes, take the simple elements and created the vehicles of the horse souls, which he previously said are the noisy and horse-laden burden composed of fire, air, earth, and water. These by welding giving rise to the homomers, whose composition consists of the four elements, and fusing with thick pegs, nails, the germs create the organic body. Because this is what is needed, all small and invisible nails become, because of this composition of dissimilar things, and even many and dense nails because of the solubility of its composition, as dense and invisible nails, then we say the insertions of the small and invisible elements into the larger one, and that the fusion is intimate with the works of Hephaestus, the ancient god of metalworking, since the fire, through the dilution during the composition, causes the total penetration of the one into the other, as is done in the case of metals which are fused, when by fusion the smaller ones penetrate the larger ones, and thus fusion takes place. So the continuation of the meanings is that the new gods welded the parts they took, constructing the body not with indissoluble bonds, but by fusing these parts with dense nails, small and invisible, because melting and welding are needed for the birth of the isomers, of which the welding is provided by moisture and melting by heat, because everything is melted by fire and welded by water, he says. And he says, after then, the union of the many and dissimilar is added the soul. First, of course, the mortal, because through it, hence, through the vegetative, aesthetic, and apathetic life, the body becomes and leaks. And secondly, the immortal, for the soul is not merely clothed, immersed in a body, but in a body inward and outward, which flows in and flows out. And one is born with the body, while the other is bound to the body. This then is the order of creation, and it has an obvious logic, because the whole birth starts from the imperfect and progresses slowly towards the perfect. And in the case of the universe, creation proceeded from mind and soul to bodies, for birth was timeless. While in the case of mortal living beings, birth begins with bodies, because it's made in time, and everything that is born in time starts from the imperfect. This is not born in time. Therefore, the universe was not born in time, because the Creator did not first give existence to the body, but to the soul, as Plato said. This indicates that the so-called birth in the case of the universe is unborn, and that its composition takes place at once. And in the case of the universe, the whole came into existence before the parts, and the one before the multitude. In the case of mortal living beings, the many are born before the one, and these merge with the dense nails to form one. For they are fused with the dense bodies, and those that are fused are nailed, and those that are nailed are quickened, and those that are quickened are adapted to the immortal soul. From these, it's clear that according to Plato, we must maintain that the entry of the soul takes place with the exit of the infant, because then the pregnancy is perfect and not before. For as it has become perfect, nature does not keep it in vain. When then the body becomes one and all, then the immortal soul binds itself to it, and it becomes one when it becomes perfect, and is perfect when it comes to light, because when he stays inside, he's part of the other. So there is no binding of the soul but by the gods in the seed, as some believe, nor is it planted with seed, but its rotations are connected with the body when the body is already born. Why is it that within the sperm there is a body born of many and dense pegs? So when the instrument becomes perfect, then the gods bind the soul that will use it. Of course, we will not fail to mention that periods of the soul and rotation of the soul, Plato says, the actions of which flow to the living organism and its two powers, that of the circle of self, identity, and that of the circle of thater, the difference. So according to Plato, the whole soul descends, and for Plato has given the soul only 2 cycles and 2 periods rotations. He brings them both down. And this is a very metaphysical topic, of course, and this is what the ancient Greeks believed. I've translated this for you from a Greek article. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.